and welcome to a Taylor's Tales podcast. This is Chris's Corner. I'm your host, Chris Taylor, and welcome to a brand new episode. This week, I'm speaking to myself. Yes, could I get any more narcissistic? I don't think so. So, welcome to the show, me. How you doing? I'm good, Chris. I'm good. You know, just another Saturday evening wasted chatting to you. Good to hear. Good to hear. So, if you only had one shot, one opportunity, would you capture it or would you let it slip? Did you just quote Eminem at me? Maybe. Well, that's kind of dumb. I know you are, but what am I? Fuck. Oh dear. Moving on to more in-depth questions for myself. So, me. You're straying away from the normal path in life. What makes you so different to everyone else? Well, I guess I choose to sail the seas of consequence, which is a quote I've stolen from Henry Rollins, who stole it from David Lee Roth from Van Halen. But nonetheless, like the idea behind that is that in life, we can easily just do what everyone else does, but you know, my greatest fear is that I'll end up in a cubicle somewhere, or even like a shared desk, just sat there at the age of like 60, about to retire, and having to reflect back on my life and not being too pleased with myself. So that's my greatest fear, and that's what sort of is the sailing the seas of consequence is more less scary for me than being in that cubicle. I love a bit of David Lee Roth and Henry Rollins, so I totally understand. A little bit cheesy, if I'm totally honest with you, but I totally get what you're trying to say, is that your idea of life is that you're trying to put yourself in a place that is uncomfortable and not putting you in a zone that stops you from becoming a better person. And I totally get that, even if it is a little cringe. Anyway, so what is watermelon sugar? We're asking the deep questions today, I know. A mixture of watermelon and sugar and Harry Styles cum, I don't know. Ew. You asked it, bud. What sort of question is that? Hang on. I'm the one who asked the questions here. So, why do you think people should listen to your podcast? It's a good question. Why should they listen? I think it's a difficult one, that, because for me, it's just a laugh. I love doing it. I hope you're either laughing with me, laughing at me. It doesn't really matter. I really enjoy making them, and I really enjoy learning, and I'm hoping people are learning a little bit with me, and there's some sort of information I am providing that is interesting to people. And in a time where people seem to be more divided than ever, I hope to be uniting people, even if it's just a small fraction of society. And at the end of the day, it's all about putting a smile on people's faces, and that's what I'm all about. So, Chris, why aren't you like everyone else? Why don't you have more podcasts with other people at the moment? You've got so many solo podcasts. People are probably bored by now of them, don't you think? Because people don't want to be bothered every 5 minutes about being on my silly podcast, and the effort of having to travel to see people in person and also, or even remotely for that matter, is a pain, because I have to prepare, I have to write notes, I have to research, and even if I do an on-the-fly podcast with somebody, it takes a lot of energy to be able to do that, and my life is extremely busy as it is. So I am doing a 9-to-5 job at the moment. For now, as you may know, I am breaking out of that. And with that on top of it, I'm working out every single day. I am doing so many other... I'm doing this. I'm also have to see family and friends. So as you can imagine, there's not a lot of time for me to organize these things on the regular. That does sound like a lot of excuses, but I promise you, there will be a lot more effort being put in when I'm working purely for Taylor's Tales Ltd. So, Chris, we all know you're a fitness enthusiast, but why do you work out so much? why do I work out so much? I think the main thing for me is that even if there was 8 days or 9 days or 10 days for the matter in a week, I would work out in them because I love it so much, and because I feel like my work ethic is really good, and that it makes me a better person, it makes me physically look good, it makes me mentally clear, and I enjoy every second of it. A lot of people hate working out. I love working out. I love the sweat, the the pain and suffering that it puts you through. And for me personally, putting myself in a position of hard work is for me pleasurable. And that's just who I am. One other guy I know with a mindset of that savagery, who works out every day, no sort of change in mindset, and that is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So, who are you voting for in the next election? Yeah, speaking of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I'd definitely vote for him. How? Why? You're not even American, Chris. I don't live there, Chris. So, in terms of people who inspire you, is it because the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson chases after every single goal he's ever had and has hit a bumpy road along the way? Is that what makes you happy? Happiness for me comes from chasing every goal I have without hesitation, being around people I find interesting and love, and just... Let me try that again. Happiness for me comes from chasing every goal I have without hesitation, being around people I find interesting and love, and really building my life resume. So, elaborate on that. What do you mean by life resume? What do I mean by life resume? Well, life resume is very different to what you would consider as the curriculum vitae. The curriculum vitae is just putting your work experience on there, putting stuff that you've worked in, wherever you've worked in your industry of choice. And for me, it was IT, so you put your IT stuff on there. But the life resume for me is like climbing mountains. Climbed Ben Nevis with my dad when I was 18. Being able to run miles upon miles, running like something like I think I've got recorded on my app at the moment something like 3,000 miles recorded just on this one app. Being able to say that I was the best man at my best mate's wedding. Being able to say that I've traveled to multiple different countries and I'm going to travel to more and meet new people. These things are adding to your life resume. These things are the things that make me feel alive and human. You gain a lot of happiness, Chris, from other people. Clearly, you're extroverted. You gain energy from others. And yet, whenever you run, whenever you're working out, a lot of the time, probably even 90% of the time, you are alone. Why? Being alone's a complicated question. A lot of people fear being alone. It may seem strange to a lot of people. For me personally, even though I am, as you say, extroverted, it, for me, is about being able to tackle life. Because, like you said, 90% of the time you are alone. And I think it's one of the greatest lies we're ever told is that people are, we're going to be around people on the constant. And that's just not true. And COVID, if anything, has shown everybody that the hardest part of your life is not seeing people and being put that period. So for me, maybe for me, more than anything else, it's that I value my goals, and my goals don't involve people constantly. And that may suffer on relationships, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
I've always wanted to ask you this, Chris, but what's with the hand gestures? Chris is my feminine side kicking in. No, but seriously, I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to fill the space and do something rather than just sit there and be a lemon. Yes, feminine. Yeah. If you say so, Chris. If you say so. I do say so, Chris. I do say so. Chris, moving on from strange hand gestures, what makes you such a motivated person? I'm not motivated. I'm driven. And being driven means every single day consistently, no matter what you do. Motivation's the idea that you're going to get a workout in, or you're going to write a book, or you're going to do one of your dreams and it's going to get done that day and it's going to be amazing and you're going to feel great and you're going to be like, yeah, I wrote all of this, or I did one workout and now I'll be strong, or now I'll have a best-selling novel. That's rubbish. Being driven means consistently putting in the work every single day, and it doesn't mean that you're going to get that amazing feeling every single time. It means that some days it's going to suck, but you're still going to do it anyway. That's what drives me personally. Yes, it does come and go, just like snitches. So, why do snitches get stitches, Chris?
Because no one likes a tailor's tales.
God, we're terrible.
I know, right?
Anyway, last question, Chris. What do you want most out of life? It's a difficult one, but for me, it's having no regrets by the time I'm an old man. I don't want to have anything lingering on my shoulder. I want to exit this life knowing that I did everything I possibly could. Everything. Doesn't matter whether I get embarrassed. Doesn't matter if other people judge me. Doesn't matter if it hurts. Doesn't matter if people walk away. It matters about that final stage in life, knowing that you did everything you could when you were young, when you were middle-aged, and when you were old. And that's it. That's all it is. Everything else falls to the side. Just having zero regrets. That, for me, is life. Well, you heard it here first, folks. This has been a Taylor's Tales podcast. This has been Chris's Corner. I'm your host, Chris Taylor. And thank you, Chris Taylor. Thank you for having me, Chris. As always, I'll see you this time next week. Bye now.